Welcome to Beyond Vision Mindset, a place where ancient wisdom meets modern resilience, where the words of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca are brought into our daily struggles. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been laughed at, mocked, or belittled in front of others? The sting of humiliation cuts deep because it attacks not only our pride, but also our longing for dignity. People use ridicule as a weapon, hoping to shake your confidence, hoping to make you flinch. But here is the truth. Humiliation is powerless unless you choose to hand it power. The Stoics mastered this truth. They lived in courts, in marketplaces, in the glare of public life, where insults and ridicule were inevitable. And yet, they discovered the art of being unshaken, of standing firm no matter how loudly the world mocked them. Today, we turn to their timeless lessons to learn how to protect our peace, keep our dignity, and transform humiliation into inner strength. If you are ready to rise above the voices that seek to diminish you, subscribe to Beyond Vision Mindset and join this journey of self-mastery, resilience, and wisdom. Let us begin. 1. Recognize that humiliation only holds power if you give it meaning. When someone tries to humiliate you, they want you to suffer twice, once through their words or actions, and again through your own interpretation of them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." Humiliation is like a mask. It looks terrifying, but when you lift it, you find it is empty. Its sting lies not in the act itself, but in the meaning you attach to it. If you believe their words define you, you will be wounded. If you see their mockery as mere noise, you remain untouched. I recall a time when I was called out harshly in public. My heart raced, my face flushed, my body burned with shame. For days I replayed the moment, as though it was carved into my skin. But slowly, I began to realize the moment did not humiliate me. My mind did. I had agreed to wear the label, to accept their laughter as truth. When I withdrew my consent, the power dissolved. Their words became nothing more than echoes. The Stoics remind us that humiliation is a performance staged by others, but the stage collapses if you refuse to stand on it. Once you see this, you cannot be truly humiliated, because you will no longer give meaning to the attack. You remain sovereign over yourself. 2. Remain calm and composed under pressure. Ridicule thrives on reaction. The more you flinch, the more power you give away. When mocked, the instinct is to fight back or to defend yourself, but the Stoics understood that composure is the highest form of strength. Epictetus taught, "When someone provokes you, remember, it is not he who reviles you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting." I once stood before an audience, explaining my point, when a colleague interrupted with sarcasm meant to belittle me. The laughter that followed felt like a wave pressing down. My instinct was to sharpen my words, to cut him down with equal force, but instead I paused. I breathed. I finished my point with calm clarity. Something remarkable happened. The laughter died. The room shifted. In my silence, in my composure, the attempt to humiliate lost its power. This is the paradox of composure. It disarms those who seek to wound you. A calm face, an unshaken tone, a refusal to be dragged into chaos, these are stronger than any defense. Those who try to humiliate you will find their weapons dull against the shield of your composure. Humiliation depends on spectacle. Remove the drama, and the moment withers. By staying calm under pressure, you reveal the impotence of their attempt, and in time, even your enemies begin to respect the fortress they cannot shake. 3. Transform shame into resilience. Seneca reminded us, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Humiliation, when endured with courage, is a form of difficulty that builds resilience. Though painful in the moment, it sharpens the soul for greater trials. There was a time I was ridiculed online for sharing ideas. The mockery came in waves, dismissive comments, sarcastic remarks, cruel jabs. At first, shame consumed me. I felt exposed, as if I had no defense. But then I asked myself, what is this shame teaching me? I realized that every insult was showing me where my ego was still too fragile, where I still craved approval. If I could survive ridicule and continue, then I was learning to stand independent of others' validation. This is the hidden gift of humiliation. It exposes your inner weaknesses so that you may strengthen them. It tests your resolve, asking whether you truly believe in yourself or only believe as long as others applaud. Over time, I grew stronger, more resilient. The shame that once silenced me became fuel for persistence. I began to view humiliation not as a wound, but as a teacher, hard, cold, and unrelenting, but also wise. What once felt like defeat became training. Each humiliation was fire, and I chose to let it forge me into steel. 4. Separate your self-worth from external approval. Why does humiliation hurt so much? Because we have tied our sense of self to the opinions of others. When they laugh, we feel small. When they mock, we feel stripped bare. But Marcus Aurelius warned, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." I once placed too much weight on the approval of a certain colleague. Every compliment felt like sunlight, every criticism like a storm. When this person publicly belittled me, I crumbled. Only later did I realize the truth. I had surrendered my self-worth into their hands. My dignity was not mine. It was rented out, dependent on their approval. The Stoics teach us that self-worth must be grounded in virtue, in character, in reason. What defines you is not their laughter, not their insults, but your actions, your discipline, your integrity. The crowd can cheer one day and jeer the next. If you tie yourself to that, you will be tossed like a ship on violent seas. But if you anchor your worth in virtue, you become immovable. When you no longer depend on the approval of others, humiliation becomes powerless. They may laugh at you, but you remain whole. They may mock you, but you remain untouched. The world cannot strip away a dignity that is rooted in your own soul. 5. Use humiliation to build an untouchable mind. The ultimate Stoic lesson is not to avoid humiliation, but to use it, to see it as training for the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Humiliation is simply one more outside event, loud, disruptive, uncomfortable. But it cannot touch your mind unless you allow it. I recall a harsh moment when someone tried to ridicule me in front of others. I felt the familiar rise of heat in my body, the urge to defend, to retaliate. But instead, I chose silence. Later, in reflection, I realized something. The experience had strengthened me. It showed me where my pride still flinched too easily, where my ego still demanded recognition. Each moment of humiliation became a mirror, showing me my own weaknesses and challenging me to grow beyond them. In this way, humiliation becomes not a curse, but a teacher. Each insult trains your patience. Each mocking laugh trains your indifference. Each attempt to demean you sharpens your ability to remain steadfast in virtue. Over time, you build an untouchable mind. A fortress so resilient that the storms of ridicule cannot enter. To stay unshaken is not to be invulnerable, but to train your mind so well that even when wounded, you rise stronger. Each humiliation becomes part of your training. Each trial, another stone in the foundation of your resilience. Humiliation is a reality of life. But it is not humiliation itself that destroys us. It is the meaning we give it, the reactions we choose, the way we let it live inside us. The Stoics teach us to see humiliation clearly, to strip away its illusion, and to transform it into a path of strength. Remember, no one can humiliate you without your consent. Composure is your shield. Shame is your forge. Self-worth is your anchor. And every attempt to belittle you is an opportunity to rise higher, to train the mind, to build an untouchable soul. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Beyond Vision Mindset and join a community committed to resilience, strength, and ancient wisdom for modern challenges. Support the channel through Super Chat, stickers, or a coffee if you wish to show appreciation. It helps this vision grow. Stay unshaken. Stay stoic.